Jeff here from around the nation. I've been gone for a little while, but I've been following the news, and what I want to talk about is Dylann Roof. Now, plain and simple, Dylann Roof is a terrorist, and he is also flat out a racist. And you cannot deny those two facts. They're backed up by himself. Roof himself admitted to police that his whole reason for attacking this church was to incite a race war. According to one of the victims that had overheard this, or witnesses that overheard this, they overheard him saying that I have to do this. I have to do this. You rape our women and you're taking over our country. That right there is definitely racism. And why he's a terrorist is obviously this attack was also meant to instill fear into the black community. To instill fear, and as he said, start a race war. Even his roommate, one of his roommates, is reported to have said, "Oh yeah, I think he was planning something like this for a long time." He always talked about segregation as if it's an awesome thing. If you remember, his Facebook photo has him wearing a couple of patches, one from Rhodesia and another from another colony in Africa, a former colony in Africa that was an apartheid state. So he's very much into segregation, very much into racism, and of course, I mean, this kid is hugely troubled, right? But not mentally ill, because he knew what he was doing. That's why mental illness doesn't factor into this whole thing, is that he knew from the outset what he wanted to do and had been planning it for a long, long time. As I said, according to his roommate, he had openly talked about this stuff, openly made racist jokes. He thought, oh, he's just kidding. No, he wasn't kidding. He is an actual racist. And the fact that that didn't surprise his roommate says a lot about the area in which he lives, South Carolina. It does say a lot about the area and how you can make all sorts of racist jokes. You can talk about, attacking black churches and, segregation without anybody even batting an eye. That is really troublesome, especially in 2015. Now, what I also want to touch on is the media. How the media has been treating this. They will not. They refuse to call it an act of terrorism. They refuse to call it an act of racism. Rick Santorum you had out there saying that, no, this is an attack on religious liberty. Oh, well, he attacked a church. It must be one of those atheists. It must be one of those people who hate religious freedom, who hate Christianity. Which is absolute bullshit. And then you have Fox News saying, well, you really shouldn't call it a hate crime. It's not a hate crime. A guy must just be a lone wolf. And that speaks to what we think about when we talk about these terror attacks. If it's a Muslim, he's a terrorist. If it's a black person, he's a thug. If it's a white person, he's either a lone wolf or mentally disturbed or something ridiculous like that. No, he is a flat-out terrorist, and he is a racist piece of shit. That's all there is to say about it. And look, the media needs to get on board and to call him what he is. And that is a racist and a terrorist. And one last thing, too. I'm glad that he was taken alive so that the media and people cannot cover for him anymore. We can actually get his words straight from his mouth. And what he had said is that he was in this church, and he thought about not even doing it for a second there. Said, no. They were so nice to me. They welcomed me with open arms. As many people in church, no matter their color, do. They welcome you with open arms. And what did he repay that kindness and welcoming with? Death and destruction and utter vile hatred. Terrorist.